Hi, Ron Coddington here. Welcome to a new episode of Life on the Civil War Trail. We have an exciting, I think, an inspired episode for you this morning. The program comes to you. Today's sponsor is Richmond Civil War Antiques. If you are a collector of Confederate or Union images, portraits of Civil War soldiers, I highly recommend you go over to Richmond Civil War Antiques. You can find them online. Dave Batalo has done an amazing job. He is a collector, he is a dealer, he is a student of the Civil War, and the images that he has for sale on his site are rather impressive. So go check out Richmond Civil War Antiques. Speaking of students of the Civil War, I am still in full-on proofing mode of our winter issue, which is, it will be going to the printer very soon, next Monday, in fact. So all systems are go. We have a team of proofers and myself who are carefully reading each story, fact-checking, make sure everything is correct so that we can provide a great experience and an accurate experience for all of our subscribers. And so as I was reading this morning, I was struck by the words of Bob Welch, who wrote the introduction for our gallery on Iowa soldiers. For those of you who have been tuning in for the last several weeks, you've heard me talk a lot about Iowa. It's been the focus of this issue. And yet, these images of Iowa soldiers, they have a broader appeal. They tell the story of Iowa, but they also tell the larger story of one state's role in the American Civil War. Bob, what he did in the introduction really touched me. I just have to say, the words that he used to describe his reaction to the photography, to the images of the soldiers, these portrait photographs, really struck me. And so I want to read you just two paragraphs that Bob wrote that stick with me. So the first one is this one, quote, "I am always moved by their faces. As these men and boys stare back at me across more than a century and a half's time, the faces speak the loudest of all. They are largely young men, often defiant, always earnest, sitting for an image for loved ones to hold in their absence. They left for a grand adventure, some never to return, and yet their faces look back at us across the years, begging to be remembered." That's almost pure poetry, especially to someone like me who has spent a lifetime collecting Civil War period images. So kudos to Bob for really capturing, I think, the heart and soul of what moves many of us, whether we are collectors of images, dealers of images, students of images, students of the Civil War. There's another paragraph I want to read to you that comes from Bob that also gets at that larger idea of us, of the American people, and also how we are a melting pot. Here's his other paragraph, quote, "Iowa soldiers represented a cross-section of the American people in many ways. One thing that has always struck me when searching through the roster and record of Iowa soldiers in the War of the Rebellion is how few of these men and boys were actually born in the state. Published from 1908 through 1911, the 6-volume series records the names and service history of all the members of the state's regiments. The rosters show men born in nearly every state of the Union, as well as Canada and Europe. Perhaps my favorite birthplace noted in the records remains that of Edward H. Mix of Company C, 3rd Infantry. Noted simply as at sea, Mix is one of many born aboard a ship as his parents sought a better life in America. No matter where they were born, the numerous birthplaces found in the records symbolize the vast mobility of the 19th century, a nation, a people on the move. What a great thought. Great thoughts, great reflections. So I want to give a big thanks to Bob Welch for sharing his feelings and being honest about what he sees and putting that into words for all of us to appreciate and to give all of us a larger perspective on the importance of these photographs. So that's it for today. I'll be back with a new video tomorrow. Until then, happy trails.